Now, what are the different kinds of the drug which will be the suitable candidate for the development of ion exchange resonate systems? Now, the drugs which have the suitable acidic and basic functional groups, acidic and basic functional groups are the suitable candidates for the development of ion exchange resonate controlled drug delivery system, as well as those drugs which have the half-life in the range of 2 to 8 hours are the most suitable candidates, but those drugs which have half-life less than 1 and half-life greater than 8 hours are not the suitable candidate for the delivery of the drug. Why? Since for those drugs which have the half-life less than 1, they will have the higher dose, and then bulk of the dose of these ion exchange resonate controlled drug delivery system will be very high, and the formulation will be very bulky in nature. So, in order to avoid that, we should select a formulation having a half-life greater than 1, means above the 2. But why shouldn't greater than 8? Means a drug whose half-life is greater than 8 hours, then obviously it has the prolonged effect. It will show the prolonged effect. Then there is no need to develop the controlled drug delivery dosage form. So those drugs which have the half-life in the range of 2 to 8 hours will be the suitable candidate for the development of ion exchange resonate controlled drug delivery system. Now the next thing that comes, that the drug should be absorbed throughout the GIT, means drug should be absorbed throughout the GIT. Throughout the GIT means in the stomach, in the intestine, it should be absorbed. As I am going to take it orally, then it should be absorbed throughout the GIT. If the drug gets absorbed in the stomach only and it will pass into the intestine, then it will be not getting a suitable site for the absorption, and then there will be wastage of the drug material, and the controlled effect, as I was discussing, the controlled effect which is achieved because of the zero order drug release can't be maintained. Now, so the drug should be able to get absorbed throughout the GIT tract, in the stomach, in the duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and then in the colon. Now, the next thing is that our drug should be stable to that of the different areas of the gastrointestinal tract. Means drug should be stable throughout the GIT. Means if my drug is stable throughout the GIT, means it should be stable in the gastric environment. It means in the presence of pepsin as well as in the acidic environment of stomach. It should be stable in the duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Means duodenum is the region where the acidity gets neutralized into that of the basicity. Now, in the jejunum part, the different enzymes are secreted from that of the pancreas. Means pancreatic gland pours whole of the content in the jejunum area. So my drug should remain stable in that area also, so that it can be readily absorbed, and then it can show the effect, pharmacological therapeutic effect. Now, as well as it should be stable into the colon region where the drug will be released and will be showing the effect. Means the drug after reaching to the colon should facilitate the stability towards the enzymes present over there, healthy bacteria is present over there which are involved in the fermentation of the carbohydrates. Means throughout the GIT tract, my drug should remain stable. If my drug has the acidic and basic functional groups, have the t-half between 2 to 8 hours, and if it is absorbed throughout the GIT tract and it remains stable throughout the GIT tract, then only it is the suitable candidate to be processed for the development of ion exchange controlled drug delivery system. If it is having the t-half between 2 to 8, but it is unstable, then it will not be the suitable candidate. If it it doesn't have the acidic functional group or the basic functional group, then we can't load the drug over the surface of the ion exchange resins. Means ion exchange resins can't bind to that of the drug which don't have the ionic functional groups, means acidic functional groups or basic functional groups. So these are the primary requirements for the development of the ion exchange resinates on depending upon the properties of the drug. So now if I say these are the properties of the drug which should be considered, then what is the rationale behind this development of these ion exchange resinate drug delivery systems? So the rationale behind the development of this ion exchange resinate drug delivery system is to control the release of the drug to a particular extent for a prolonged duration in the therapeutic window. To improve, to reduce dosing frequency, to improve the therapeutic effect, means it should improve the therapeutic effect by maintaining the constant levels of the drug inside the body. Now, if I say it should reduce the dosing frequency, then it should improve the patient compliance and these ion exchange resinates have one more important property, that they are also used in taste masking properties. Means if a drug has a very bitter taste in the mouth, means in the basic environment of the mouth, then what we do is we select a suitable polymer, means suitable resin, to which will be bind to that of the drug, and binding of the drug to a suitable polymer will allow the formation of a suitable complex which will not facilitate the release of the drug in the mouth, and it will be inert in nature. So those drugs which are bitter in taste can also be formulated for the development of the ion exchange resinates. So in order to achieve these rationales, we develop the ion exchange resins, and the acid-base strength which is going to affect the drug loading, capacity of exchange, degree of exchangeability, as well as the porosity, swelling, all these factors are basically affecting the development of the drug delivery system, and finally the rationale of these developments of the controlled drug delivery system.